Cain Velasquez officially went to court for his arraignment today. If you didn't hear what happened, I covered it in detail in a video I'll link at the top right of the screen. Basically, Cain attempted to shoot a man named Harry Goulart that was charged with the molestation of a relative of Cain's believed to be one of his children. It's suspected Goulart molested his child over 100 times. Cain chased down both Goulart and his stepfather Paul Bender by ramming his vehicle against theirs. Velasquez opened fire with a .40 caliber pistol and struck Bender in the torso and arm. Bender is expected to survive. During his arraignment today, prosecutors said that his intention was to injure or kill 43-year-old Goulart. According to MMA Fighting, Judge Selena Brown heard arguments from both Velasquez's attorney and District Attorney Aaron French before she gave her ruling and said, "It is clear to this court that there is clear and convincing evidence that there is a substantial likelihood that a release would result in great bodily injury, not just to the named complaining witnesses in this case, but to Santa Clara residents at large. This case involves allegations of extreme recklessness to human life. Ramming a vehicle in the middle of the day where citizens are out driving, going about their business and shooting out of a car at other individuals, which is reckless by any standard. Anyone could have been injured. Anyone could have been killed. And when this court looks at Article 1, Section 12, it is this level of risk that the court must take into consideration. With that said, this court is making the ruling that this risk is too great and there will be no bail set at this time." The judge ultimately believed Cain to be too much of a danger to society and didn't approve him to be set free on bail. This was in stark contrast to Harry Goulart's case, where according to the Real American Cholo on Instagram, Judge Lee Jacqueline Duong released Goulart on $50,000 bail after being charged with molestation of a minor, which is ultimately the reason why an opportunity presented itself for a very emotional Cain, whom is known to be calm in demeanor, to retaliate and lash out in the way that he did. Cain is scheduled to be back in court on April 12th for his next hearing in the case. After Colby Covington's win over Masvidal at UFC 272, Colby brought up Cain without being asked. He said, "Free Cain, what he did. A lot of people would have done the same thing. I respect the shit out of him. Having your kid get molested, we talk about that all the time, that we would do that. But he was in that situation, and he actually did it. So free Cain. Much respect and love. I hope you get out soon." Prior to Colby Covington facing Jorge Masvidal at UFC 272, Masvidal had pointed at Colby's knee at the weigh-in and could be heard asking Colby if he had a cortisone shot in his knee, essentially hinting that Colby was dealing with some injury. After UFC 272, Colby was interviewed backstage prior to the conference and asked if he was dealing with a knee injury prior to entering the cage. Colby said that he didn't have an injury and that he made up a lie to sniff out a rat in his camp. Colby said, "Nah, I had no injury. You know it's funny. I did that intentionally. I told someone that was close to both of us that was doing my medicals before the fight. I was like telling him, hey, do you want to get something for my knee? You know, just messing with him because I wanted to see where his loyalty was, you know?" He said he was Team Colby, but now I know he was Team Jorge. You know he's a little rat, so I can't trust people going forward and I will keep my circle even smaller than it is. Covington said at the UFC 272 post-fight press conference that nothing Jorge Masvidal did surprised him and that he had plenty cardio left. He was asked who he would like next between Kamaru Usman and Dustin Poirier, and he said that he'd like Usman, but because of his hand injury, he'd like Dustin next. Dustin's been talking too much according to Colby and he'd like to put that to rest as soon as possible. Dustin said he'd fight Colby on site but not in the octagon. Colby said he'd fight him in the street, park, or wherever if that's really the case. He was asked about why he gave up his pay-per-view points versus Masvidal, and he said the beef was real and he didn't care for the money in this specific fight and wanted to settle the beef for all the talk Masvidal was doing to the media. As far as Masvidal, he said he wrestled terribly and lost a lot of exchanges on the feet too. Masvidal said the first time Colby got on top of him in the first round, it depleted him and caused him to go flat. He said if he could go back in time, he would have kept his grades up and enrolled in wrestling to make it into college wrestling to keep all his opponents on their feet. He said he wasn't planning to fight anyone next until he improves his wrestling so that he can box comfortably without always having to worry about getting taken down. He said he didn't pounce on Colby after knocking him down because he was sure Colby would try and take him down. He had a 5-second opportunity and he said he blew it. Kamaru Usman told us after the event that maybe down the line Colby Covington would be given a third opportunity. He said, "I knew that Colby Covington's wrestling would be the big difference. Masvidal had moments in there, but Covington did his thing, so maybe down the line I smash." As always guys, if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button for me. If you're new, subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date. Thanks for watching.